It just amazes me. And what they're supposed to do is fix your potholes. It's boring, but that's why you elected them. Not to be venture capitalists with your tax dollars. So anyway, I'm pretty blunt. But what's that? They can, but nobody runs. Two of them, I guess, were appointed.
That's
you can't
right.
get people to run for office. Anyway, that's another subject matter.
Right. Well, thank you.
And I haven't met the city council. They're good, decent people. I'm sure they are. They're listening to one lawyer. And when you get elected, and all of a sudden you have this responsibility on your backs, it's hard to go against what a legal opinion is. These folks have nowhere to go to challenge that lawyer's opinion. The legislature hasn't given them anything.
So that's where you're saying
We need oversight with the revenue.
Senator Wayne, would you like to say a couple words about like the progress your committee's making
And what it's on.
the hearings, if you don't mind? I'm sorry, I kind of caught you off guard.
Hello, I'm Senator Wayne. I see Senator Luann Linehan over there from the Elkhorn area, so I wanted to make sure you guys know that she's here too. This is an issue that not only affects property taxes, education funding, and everything else. So we are starting our statewide tour, starting in North Platte on August 24th, and we'll be going throughout our North Platte, Grand Island, Lincoln, Omaha. I'm trying to set one up here just so our committee can get a whole feel for what's going on. We are looking at this. We are putting out some recommendations or some bills that we're going to introduce next year. My committee did kill Senator Groene's bills this year. Part of the reason was me, and I went to Senator Groene and said, this is my first year in the legislature. Give me a year to travel around, and we'll come back with something. And the reason why this is passionate for me, I was on the Omaha Public School Board, and just to put it in perspective, when you stand down at ConAgra's campus and look north and west, everything you see is TIF'd, as far as you can see it. And so when state aid started getting cut, and we have $1 billion on the tax rolls that we can't touch, OPS started losing funding. And so that's when it started. But then what really got me going was TD Ameritrade on 108th and Dodge. It was already built to 3 stories high when the city council decided to TIF it the rest of the way. So clearly the but-for test didn't matter there because they were already building, literally building. So it became an issue, and so we're studying it, and we're gonna put some recommendations together. What we found in the audit report by Auditor Charlie Jansen was many of the same people relied on the same people, and that's why it was abused across the state. It was particularly 1 or 2 people who went around the state and developed the same properties, kind of what's going on here, if you understand what I'm saying. So that was in the audit report, and that's what we're trying to figure out some ways. So I was back here actually texting my legal counsel saying, what about this, what about that, look up this case, look up that case, because every time I'm around people talking about TIF, we're thinking of new ways to solve the problem. So we know it's an issue with state funding, with education funding, so we know we got to address it. We're just trying to figure out the best way to do it.
Great, thank you. Senator, would you like to say a couple words, Senator? Well, that's a good reason to talk.
I got confused between Elkhorn and I went the wrong way. I would like to really thank Senator Groene for excuse me? Yes, Lou Ann Linehan. I would like to thank Senator Groene for coming in. He's a long ways from home. And for Senator Wayne for being here. This is really an important subject. I represent Western Douglas County, including Valley and Waterloo. And one of the first things I ran into when I was running last year was a huge battle going on in Valley between the school board and the city council and what they were TIFing. So I'm not that familiar with your project here, but it sounds very familiar with what we're already doing in Douglas County. So you have DC West, which is Waterloo and Valley merged, and then they have developers come out and build $1 million homes which have children in them, because generally the definition of a home is kids who end up going to the school but none of the money from the development goes to the school. So you're very good to get in front of this because it's, as Senator Groene said, it's rolling across the state, and we are coming to a point where you won't, unless we get ahead of it, you're not going to have any developments done without TIF. And that pushes everybody else's property taxes up because somebody has to pay the bill if you're going to have new kids in school. So thank you. It is hard, but keep at it. You will. You might, just because you lose one battle doesn't mean you lose the war. So keep hard. Thank you very much.
All right. Oh, we got one more question back here. All right. If you could announce your name.
I don't know if I really have a question. I just have a comment or a couple, if that's okay. So my name's Thomas Judds, and I do not live in the community of Ashland, but I am just on the outskirts, actually in Lancaster County, 6 miles west of here. But I've been involved in the affordable housing development and investment side for about 20 years. And Senator Groene, I've also invested and been a part of the investor group that have placed housing in North Platte, all across the state of Nebraska, and quite frankly. Typically in Omaha, I've seen a lot of the TIF used, and I don't want TIF to get a bad name because it has done a lot of good for the development of low to moderate income housing. I want to be very specific about that. I've been very quiet all through these meetings because I have a lot of conflicts of interest personally about how I feel and what I've been involved in, the people I know. But honestly, affordable housing would not probably be built in blighted areas if you didn't have the assistance of TIF and the low to moderate income housing tax credit. And so that serves households that make 60% or less area median income. So TIF does work in those situations because those rents and incomes are limited. And so you won't see developers in the private sector come in there and develop unless they can maximize the rents and up their debt. When you're dealing with tax credit developments, you have equity, your rents are limited, so then at that point you need to leverage as much as you can. So I just want to make sure that's everybody's mind, that TIF does work in areas. I did question the regards the blight definition. When this initially started, you know, is that a blighted area? And so those are my comments. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. One last question. Lorraine, come on up here. I'll meet you in the middle.
That wasn't a question. You chewed you out.
And then we'll call it good.
Okay, my name's Lorene. I just have a kind of a quick observation that this area was blighted. In some ways, isn't this kind of bid rigging because you're setting the land up for developing by the city? So it's kind of like bid rigging. So you're setting up, it's all, okay, it's like it's blighted out, but it's done for a specific developer and investment group. Wouldn't that, in all seriousness, wouldn't that be kind of like bid rigging, which is illegal?
Government shouldn't pick winners and losers, and that's what they're doing. There's people who have, I took a tour, you invested in SIDs, they have lots to sell.
Yeah.
The city decided similar development, it's not low income, and they're giving these an unfair advantage over these individuals who invested. They're picking winners and losers. And that should not be, and some might call it cronyism, that you are helping one person over another. But it's legal.
Bid rigging is?
This isn't really bid rigging, it's
Almost what it is.
but you're absolutely right. A blighted area should be decided by a city prior to anybody coming in and wanting to develop it.
And it already owns.
The city should pick that because of what's good for the city, what's good public policy. The city should say, this area is blighted. Now, here's where you're going to build. These guys come in and say, we're going to build houses. Now your city planner should go to those folks and say, wait a second, don't build out here. I have this area here where we'll help you develop infrastructure in. Would you build here instead of there? It's completely gone backwards. Developers and their lawyers have coming to the city councils and dangling bait and saying, We own this land out here. We want to develop this land out here. You blight it. And that's wrong.
All right. Well, so let's talk about, thank you, Senator Groene. Let's talk about the petition. Let's go to the next slide, please. We covered most of the questions. So we are trying to do something. We've been going to a lot of meetings. The council people seem very dug in on this. So a couple weeks ago, we decided to start a petition. It's not illegal. You can't actually have a legal referendum to reverse the vote of the city councils, but we thought, let's do something. We just can't just sit here and do nothing. We've emailed the council people. We've met with them. We've gone to all their meetings. So we started the petition, going door to door. We got some great folks with a lot of energy that's really helped out a lot. And we initially tested the waters, but one gal, she said she went out in her neighborhood. She hit 25 homes, and every home signed the petition. And based on that success, that just energized us. And so we started spreading out through the community. We got petitions at businesses, and we've collected several hundred signatures already. And I've been asking, I pulled all the folks collecting petitions out there. I said, what would you say is the rate of folks that are signing the petition? Out of 100, give me a number. And they said maybe 3 out of 100 don't sign it. And I said, okay, why don't those 3 sign it? Well, one was a city employee. One was related to a city council member. And the other was a business person that had, some interests in another project, and they didn't want the city to get mad at them. So anyone that hasn't signed, they give us the reason. They said, man, I'd sign it, but I just don't want to get in trouble, with this project I'm working on with the city. And so what we're doing is we're going to keep collecting signatures up till Saturday. And then on Monday morning, we're going to submit all of our signed petitions to City Hall. So we're going to take them down there, our little group. It's been a fun group. It's a lot of energy, and these guys have been working hard. And I just like to applaud you guys, because you guys have been awesome. They're amongst us. Again, it's not a legal document, but we just want to show the city council, that we're serious, that this is a big concern for our community. And, if they go ahead and still approve the TIF, who knows what the next step is. Some people, like the senator said, are saying, let's just go for a recall and go that route. We're just going to wait and see how it goes. August 17th. The petition's out in the lobby there if you'd like to sign it. You can go to the next slide. There's just like a quick sample of the petition. You just put your name, signature, address, indicate if you're a city resident. You don't have to be a resident. If you're in the school district, we'd still love to have you sign. If you're interested in helping us getting some more signatures, please see me afterwards. We'll give you a few forms and go out to your friends and get them to sign too. And again, the petitions are at Cherio's or at the Ashland Pharmacy as well. And next slide, please. So just action items. There's information about the TIF project at the library. There's the facts and figures there, at the city side of it. But if you'd like to reach out to your council member or the mayor, there's their contact information. And one thing I think is really missing in the TIF agreement, there's just a little paragraph on how this could affect the school system in that TIF agreement. So I really do think the school and the city should work together on, what is the true cost of this development is going to be to the school system. And I think they're really not talking to each other right now. But I think they really do need to come together. And before the city votes on this, I think they really need to know what those true costs are. If you don't do anything else, please come to this meeting Thursday, August 17th at 7 p.m. at City Hall. We want to pack the house before they vote on this. Some people say, hey, it doesn't make a difference if we show up or not. I think it does. I mean, we got to make our presence known. It's a little place. Let's just make it standing room only, okay? Let's just crowd right around them and see if they still vote on it that night. And thank you for coming tonight. I'm very impressed with the numbers we had tonight. So thanks again, and thank you, Senator. So take care.